advertisers. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the listening public, the wonderful people here in Nevis, those in St. Kitts, those across the Caribbean Sea. Good evening to those in North America, those in Canada, those in the United Kingdom, wherever you are. Good evening to you, and welcome to another edition of On the Mark. I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and we're here every Wednesday between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m. You can follow us on YouTube or on VON Radio's Facebook page. And of course, we are also the old-fashioned we're on radio at 860 on your AM dial. You can also listen via the internet at www.vonradio.com. Good evening to all of our family and friends here on Ireland, those in St. Kitts, and good evening to our family and friends wherever they are listening. This show has a wide audience. It is still the only commercial-free primetime talk radio show, and we've been here on Wednesdays for the past decade and a half, and we say to God be the glory for that. And we thank again the generosity of the law firm of Daniel Brantley that has funded this program for all of those years and allowed us to be commercial free. So we say thank you to them, and thank you to all who contribute, who call, and who make this their home. I know a lot of people listen. They may not always call in, but certainly I know the listenership is quite high, and that I know that because of the feedback that I get from persons near and far. Let me start the show, ladies and gentlemen, by expressing some condolences. I want to first of all express some condolences to the family of Berkeley Dorr of Bath Village. Berkeley, as we all know, was one of the top fishermen in Bath and perhaps in the island of Nevis. And he was suffering for a short while, ailing for a short while, and unfortunately has passed. And so I want to extend my deepest condolences to the entire family, all the children and grandchildren, and the entire Bath community, the entire fishing community. We know Berkeley was loved by all, and so I would really like to take this opportunity just to extend my own sympathies to the family, and to pray and hope that they will find some comfort in the memories of him, and some comfort knowing that others, such as myself, my family and others, that we cared about Berkeley, we cherished our memories of him, and that he was always somebody who contributed to the life and times of Bath and the life and times of Nevis. So to Pat and the entire family, I extend my deepest condolences to you all, to my very good friend Shakil, to the entire family, Mitchie, and everybody else. I extend my condolences and pray and hope that you will find some comfort in this time of bereavement. It is a difficult period, to be sure, but I'm hopeful that you will find some comfort at this very difficult time. Let me also extend condolences to the family of a man known to all as Brother Philip. He was laid to rest today. I apologize to his daughter, Rhonda, because I knew that the time of his funeral coincided with our cabinet. The Nevis Island Administration meets and in cabinet session every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And so it was unusual that they had a morning funeral, but unfortunately we were unable to be there. But I want the family to know that we extend condolences to them, and that we hope and pray that the funeral gave them some closure, and that the funeral also gave them some comfort, and that those who were in attendance would have comforted them in their hour of bereavement. Let me also extend condolences to the family of William Griffin, whom I'm told passed away as well. I hope that that information is not inaccurate in terms of I come sometimes and I don't always verify, and it's a horrible thing, of course, to get it wrong. But if that information is correct, I want to send my deep condolences to the family, and to pray and hope that those who mourn him will get some comfort as well. Let us all pray for each other. Let us all keep each other in our prayers, because it is important that we support each other. With all that is said sometimes about the island of Nevis, the truth is that we do look out for each other. We argue sometimes, as family does. We get a little rambunctious and a little out of order sometimes, but in the main we look out for each other. And so certainly we look forward to a better place, and hope that in the place that they've gone to, there's no suffering, there's no pain. So we are hopeful that I'm sorry, it looks like I've lost my headphones, but we are hopeful that their souls will rest in peace, and that they will continue, their families will continue to remember them as we move forward. So I appear that I've lost my headphone. I have no sound, but I hope you can hear me still, and I'll continue as the technicians here try to assist me with perhaps another headphone or with something similar. I'm hopeful that I can get this right, and bear with me please as we try to sort this out. If you can give me just a moment, I hope I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, well, I think that they're going to get me a new headphone, and let's see if that one works a bit better than this one. This one has gone quiet on me, and so I can't hear the feedback, but hopefully you can still hear me. And I join, of course, as I always do, with all those who are mourning. I join in extending words of comfort to all those who are struggling in some way, and pray and hope that God will hold you up in his arms. He is, of course, the great comforter, and so I extend my condolences to all who may be mourning and all who are struggling. And also I'm hopeful that the families will get some comfort. As I talk about persons who would have passed, let me also take a moment to remember a real icon here in Nevis, the late Lester Blackett. Lester was somebody who was known to all. He was somebody who he played football. He was a star athlete, and he performed creditably. Let me just try to switch over and see if this works. Please give me a moment. Hello? Yeah, maybe this is working. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that this is. I think that I'm having the same problem, but let's see how this works. Let's see if I can get this to work. No, it doesn't appear that this one is working either. We may be having a technical glitch. Am I being heard on the air? Okay. So to the family of the late Lester Blackett, his wife and child and siblings, and the entire Blackett family, also a great family of Bath Village, I want to extend my deep condolences as well. Lester, as I was saying, was someone who participated in all forms of sport. He did incredibly well in football, did incredibly well in athletics. I know about his prowess in those two, but he was an all-around sports person. He contributed tremendously. He taught, he was a school teacher, he managed projects for the government, and he really would have given yeoman service. I last saw him just a few weeks ago at the government buildings there at Pinneys, and I had no idea that it would be the last time that I would see him that way. I did visit the hospital, but at that point he was already quite low. And so to his family, to his lovely wife from Hanley's Road, I want to extend our deepest condolences on the passing of Lester Blackett. And as I have said, to all of those who are mourning, we pray and hope that you'll be comforted. If I can just segue from that note of sadness to a note of tremendous personal joy for my family and I, and that is that our younger daughter, Gabriella Brantley, has just graduated with her Master's in Law, and she would have graduated only 2 days ago in London. And I want to extend to Gabriella my warmest congratulations. She is a formidable young woman, in a small package to be sure, but very formidable. She has contributed already at her young age quite extensively. She did promise me that she would have a master's degree by the time she was 23, and indeed she is and has achieved that. And so I would want to commend Gabriella, wish her well, pray that she continues to go from strength to strength. And it really, when I look at young people like Gabriella, young women in particular, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased because she's a product of the public school system here on the island of Nevis. She would have gone to Ivor Walters Primary, school that I went to as well. She'd have gone to Charlestown Secondary. She then went off to England and went to boarding school there. But even while she was at Charlestown Secondary, she was one of the youngest debaters in the history of debating on the island, and would have assisted the Nevis team in securing championships at the Leeward Islands debating level. I know she continues to be an avid debater and a love of debate, and she continues to be of assistance to the Leeward Islands competition and to the Nevis Sixth Form and to our debating literary and debating society here in Nevis. And so, Gabrielle, if you're listening, your daddy is proud of you. Congratulations. I know your mom is also very proud of you. All of your family, your grandma Joan, and all of your family, your aunts and uncles and cousins, and of course your sister Brianna, your older sister Brianna, who blazed the way for you, is also very proud of you. And so I say congratulations, and I pray and hope that God will continue to bless and keep you, guide you. May his hand be upon you and upon your life, and may he keep you on the path that will lead to good fortune, to lead to success. And may you never ever lose that balance that you have, that love of people that you have. May you continue to do well and to give of yourself, because there is no better service that one can give than service to your fellow man. And so I wish you all the very best. I think you have all the education and all the training in the world. It's now for you to go out and to do your best. And so, Gabriella Brantley, congratulations, my love, and I pray and hope that you continue to go from strength to strength. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a personal note. I asked you to not be upset that I took the moment on my show to wish my daughter congratulations. I'm very proud of her, as you can tell, and I just wanted to say that publicly. To all of those who are graduating, because there are quite a few young people who are doing tremendous things and are graduating at universities all around the world, those who are here from Nevis, those from St. Kitts as well, and I say congratulations to them all. They would all have worked hard, and their families deserve the accolades as well, because in many instances their families have been supportive of all that they've done and all that they continue to do. And so I said kudos to them, congratulations to them, and may they continue from strength to strength. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue, of course, our preparations for Culturama 50. We continue to invite all of our brothers and sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, and everybody else in the diaspora to come home for Culturama for a grand homecoming celebration. I believe that the Culturama calendar is looking very good in terms of what is planned and what is in store for you. I can tell those who are coming home that the Concerned Citizens Movement will be having a major function to show appreciation to those home and those who are coming home, to show appreciation to our friends and family, and for those who have supported this party steadfastly. I want to tell you that we will be doing something, and we will be extending that invitation to all to come and commix and commingle with us, to be there with us, and to really just enjoy, because at the end of the day we love to show our appreciation to those who have made it possible for this island to be on the path that it has been on for all of these years. And so we look forward very much to Culturama in the season. We'll be rolling out our plans. We'll be letting you know what's happening. The Culturama Secretariat, they're out there, they're promoting. The Culturama Committee is promoting. And I anticipate that we will have an excellent Culturama. But before Culturama, we have the Mango Festival that is happening. This year's our 10th anniversary, and we look forward very much to that festival, where we will have all things mango, a culinary excursion here on the island of Nevis. And so certainly we look forward to that as well. And I ask you to stay tuned to make sure that you're part of the various events that will be happening for our Mango Festival, this 2024 edition, which will be 10 years. And I feel very proud of the Mango Festival, because that was an initiative that was started under my tenure as Minister of Tourism. And so I'm asking you to please to go out. It is now becoming a premier food festival in the region, and I want you to go out and enjoy it very much. And so we look forward certainly to that, and to not just the Mango Festival. Guess what? We're also having CPL cricket, I'm told, is happening in St. Kitts. We're having Culturama. But before all that, we're having the St. Kitts Music Festival. And so we have really an action-packed summer. And I'm asking the good people of Nevis to go out and support in their numbers the St. Kitts Music Festival, support in your numbers our cricket, CPL cricket, and, of course, the good people in St. Kitts. We expect to see you over for the Mango Festival, and we expect to see you over for Culturama 50. So this year, 10 years of Mango Fest, 50 years of Culturama. What a year, what a summer we're looking forward to. And so we anticipate that we were going to have a very good time here. We want to stay safe. We want to stay safe, but we also want our people to have an opportunity to relax, to enjoy themselves, enjoy the food, enjoy the music, enjoy all that the island of Nevis has to offer. Now, there are some wonderful updates that I want to give to you. Tomorrow I'm looking forward. I pray God allows me to see tomorrow. You know why? Because tomorrow we will have, for the very first time, available to us here in Nevis, a local beer. Yes, a local beer. And that is the Peak Brew Pub will be unveiling its local beers tomorrow. They have an event there, I think, at 1 p.m. and they'll have beer on tap. It will be the first time on the island of Nevis that I'm aware of that we will have a beer brewed in Nevis available to Nevisians. And so I urge you to go out and to support. This is one of the local investors, the local investment, that we have seen. These are foreign investors, but they've come in, they've invested in a restaurant and a brew pub. And so we expect to have that local beer available as of tomorrow. That is what I'm told. And so I look forward very much to it. I'm not a big beer drinker, but I certainly look forward to drinking a Nevis beer. That, I think, will be a first for the island, and what a wonderful thing. These are the types of initiatives, small as they may be, but as somebody reminded me recently, 1-1 fill basket. That's what we say, because it's true. 1-1 fill basket. Sometimes we have to look at things in the round and to see what is happening on the island in terms of the confidence that we are seeing, the confidence that is being demonstrated by investors large and small. While I'm talking about new businesses and new ventures, let me thank and congratulate Miss Fabiola Grant. I hope I have her name correct. She has just opened a fabulous spa and wellness center right there on the main street in Bath Village, and I was privileged to go there and to say a few words of encouragement to her. But what made me even more excited about that is the fact that she was able to do that with assistance and guidance from our Small Enterprise Development Unit, SIDU. You will recall that as part of our response to COVID, this government decided that we would make $5 million available for small businesses. And from that money, we have been lending up to a maximum of $100,000 to small micro businesses, startup, providing some seed money. But we have said that we want to focus on women entrepreneurs and young males. So if you're under 35, I think the rule was, or you're female, you could be female at 90, you are able to borrow from that revolving fund. The interest rate is now only 3%, and so it is some of the cheapest money that you can borrow. And we continue to encourage persons to go in, but we're also encouraging those who have been successful, please, to honor your commitments and to ensure that you're paying back, because what we hope that 5 million can do is to turn over several times over the next few years, and to ensure that we help as many small businesses as we can. So right now, who we're helping women, because our research suggested that women were underserved. Most of them could not get a loan from the commercial banks. And we're helping youth, because we also figure out that youth were also underserved. Great ideas many of them had, but could not get financing from the banks. So that is what we're doing. And I was so happy to see that Fabiola has opened her place. I think it's called Fabulous. I believe it's called Fabulous. I'm sorry. And it's right there on Bath Main Road. So as you leave Reliable Motors going into Bath, you can't miss it. It's right there on the left. And I urge you to go out and to support her small business. And I am grateful to see, because that's where you see the fruits, if you will, of these initiatives and these policy prescriptions, when you can see young people opening their own business assisted by seed money provided through a government program. That is what we're here to do, to help you realize your dreams and to help to provide a way so that you can make a way for yourself. This isn't a handout. This isn't charity. This is a hand up. That's what this government has been about, and this is one of our responses to COVID-19. And we're seeing our people grab the opportunity. We're seeing more small businesses opening their doors, more people who are exhibiting and allowing their entrepreneurial spirit to come to the fore. And that is what we're seeking to do. And so congrats again to Miss Grant, and I wish her all the very best in her endeavors. And to all of you who have been facilitated in some way by CIDU through training, through loans, through assistance in terms of business guidance, business plans, please, that is the organization that we have there to assist small enterprises, and we urge you to go and to take advantage of those opportunities that exist. We have lots of other businesses around the island that have equally benefited, and we wish them continued success. The backbone of any economy is small business. The greatest economies in the world, even the United States, it's the mom and pop shops and stores and the small businesses that make America great. And so I urge our people to support our small businesses. You know, people sometimes say to me, oh, you're always all around the place eating and posting pictures and all of that. Why? Because I'm an avid believer in social media. I think it is the way that you reach so many people at the click of a mouse or the click of your fingers on your phone. And what better way to show your support than if you go and you have a nice piece of fried chicken by Sandy, or you go by Mims and you have something good, you go by Rodney and you have something good, you go to Old House and you have something good, you go up in Barnesgate by my friend Bit and you have something good, you say so. And that you put that word out. And people pay attention and people say, oh, I'll try this. I remember one time I was by my friend Cabo up in Fountain. I can't get him to vote for me, but he's my friend. And I was there and I had some goat water, and I still believe Cabo has some of the best goat water in Nevis. People can argue with me that is okay, but his goat water is special. And I did a live from up there. And in fact, that live was an interesting live because Janice, my friend who is now passed on, was playing her steel pan. And Cabo said to me that live, so many people call, people pay attention. And we can use our social media tools, we can use these phones for good, or we can use them for mischief. Imagine if each time you went to a place, a small business, you bought a piece of chicken, you bought some ribs, you had lunch, you did whatever, and you said, you know what, I'm going to post a review on this. I'm going to say, listen, this was excellent. I went by Lynn's Deli and I had this, it was excellent. You see, some of the bigger companies don't really need you and I to advertise them because they have the budget and they're established. But the little places that are just up and coming, take a moment, post them to your WhatsApp status, post them to your Facebook page, Let us help each other. I think it's important. It really is important. And let us continue to grow the small business community. Let us not be like some who say, oh, I'm not going to spend my money with them, go make them rich. The irony is that we refuse sometimes to spend money with our own because we refuse to make them rich, but we line up to go and spend money by the Chinese store and with anybody that we don't know. We don't and are not concerned about making those people rich. Let us empower our own, because in doing so, you also empower yourself. Let us look at and encourage our people to rise and to seize the heights of our economy, seize the heights of everything that's available here. After all, this is our country. But we must adopt a mentality of helping each other. Not trying to cry down or drag down each other, but helping each other. That's important. The fact that you spend $1 with somebody is not you making them rich, you're supportive. Same way you're asking them and their families to spend $1 with you in terms of whatever it is that you offer by way of goods and services. And so let us support each other. That is important. And I believe these are things that transcend politics. You see me? I don't believe that there's any politician in or out of politics that has had as much criticism as me. I don't believe that there's anything that could be as innocuous as a feather, and yet it gets talked about and criticized, as is the case with me. And I smile because I've coined a phrase, ignore the noise, and I do it very well. Because it is noise, and some people are out there and that's all they do. Every day clang, 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 noise. They have a solution to your every problem. They know all about your work. They know all about your profession. They know all about your business. They have the answers to anything and everything that ails you. But they don't have any answers for themselves. You go out to work every day. You build your little house. You buy your little car. You send your children to school. You go to church on Sunday or Saturday. You are doing what you can to do what is right and to live right, and you are progressing the way that life progresses. You have people out there who are not working anywhere, who refuse to take up gainful employment, who seem to have an allergy to anything called work, but they're the ones who are on radio and on social media advising you. They're the ones who keep telling you that they have the answers for you, but they're not doing what you're doing. They're not engaged in any meaningful activity other than sitting behind a microphone or behind a computer screen, typing or talking their lives away. While you are actually out there working, you're paying Social Security, you're paying your taxes, you're paying your school fees, you're paying Nevlec. You know what it's like to pay bills. Some of them are allergic to paying bills. Immediately as they see a bill, they start to itch. I need calamine lotion and Benadryl. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing. It is you who are the building blocks of this island. And so many of the talking heads, I smile to myself all the time. So many of them have not one thing they could show and say, this is an accomplishment. In fact, some of them have PhD degrees. They've studied at the best schools. And you know what the degree is in? Failure. Failure. They have a PhD in failure. When you see some of them, call them Dr. Failure. You who are out there doing what you're supposed to do, working hard, earning, growing, developing, taking care of your family, them who now work tell you they have the solution for you. They have the ability to solve your problems, but they can't solve theirs. Think about it sometimes. And that is why when I hear some of them clang, 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 I just smile. I just smile. Because I know, and I think Nevis is small enough that you know the history. You know the circumstances. Nobody can fool nobody here so easy, you know. We are well aware of where we have been and where we are and where we hope to go. And there's some who are like some vultures. And all that they're doing is just sitting on that fence, cooping, hoping that by some miracle they get their hands again on the treasury. That's all that's happening, you know. But I want to say here tonight, what's today? Let me check my phone. The 22nd day of May, in the year of our Lord 2024. The day that some of them get their hands back on the Nevis treasury, they'll be wailing and gnashing of teeth here in Nevis. Because you know what? They will say like one said publicly. One said publicly that you go in the kitchen with a deep bowl and a long spoon. Potter boil ya. Me nah leave ya. That is how they see government. And it says something to me. That you have some people, you know, who left government in 2013. That's 11 years ago. Them no work since, you know. If you don't believe me, look around. Them no work since. So you ask yourself the question, well, is it that they're not capable of doing something? Them can't open a little business, they can't sell 2 freco? What is the difficulty? Everybody else is progressing. You know my children come out of schools in 2013? If you were 18 years old coming out of school in 2013, how old are you now? 31. You've gone from young adult to almost middle-aged adult in that time, and you mean some of them ain't chopped stroke in 11 years? But yet they're on the radio telling you they have the answers for you. They know how to grow Nevis. They know how to manage Nevis. Well, you can manage Nevis and you can't manage yourself. One of them I hear the other day boiling the most rum in Nevis now, competing with the fellas them who are the traditional rum producers in Nevis. Huh? PhDs in failure. That is what, and we have to call it for what it is. Because it seems to me that some cannot survive unless they have access to the treasury. And I am predicting on this, the 22nd day of May, that if that day were to come, there'll be wailing and gnashing of teeth. 12th of December 2022, the people of St. James put their trust in Janice Daniel. The people of St. Thomas's put their trust in Cleon Stapleton Simmons. The rest of Nevis put their trust in the CCM. But the ink had not yet dried on the ballots. The pencil had not yet dried when the whole thing fell apart. And someone said to me the other day, well, if you think that Cleon and Janice couldn't get along, well, what if Pat and JD had get in there? It would have been hell to pay the priest. But I'm not even concerned about them. I'm not concerned about them, you know. Because I have seen enough and understood enough to know that the real power is not going to be them. It's going to be these clanging cymbals. Those are the people. Because they're going to say, well, I was on radio for 12 years. I'm the one who changed the government, you know. I was the one. I was on writing on Facebook. And they're the ones who are going to be lining up. And if a man ain't worked for 11 years, you know, he's hungry. Hungry. So when you see that vulture take off of the fence and start to flap those wings because they see the treasury, what the song said, they see money coming, money coming. That is what they're about. So when you hear them sometimes, and you assess the rubbish that they get up to and the things that they say, and you say, really? Is this what is being offered to the people of Nevis as a sensible alternative to run government and to take this island forward? Well, where forward can you take Nevis when you have no demonstrated ability in anything? Some people come to politics because they were lawyers, they were doctors, they were business people, they were community people. They've had long careers contributing. That is why politics for them isn't difficult. I always use Eric Evelyn as my example. He didn't just jump in and say getting involved in politics. He was called by the people of St. George. Called by them. And I said to myself that there are some who nobody called. In fact, there are some who, however they got there, the same speed they came, the people sent them away and said, not you. Yet you hear them. And they keep trying and trying and trying while not demonstrating anything that they have ever done in their lives that you can point to and say, yes, I could have confidence in this person because they accomplished this or accomplished that. They succeeded at this and they succeeded at that. Nothing at all that you could find. But yet they're telling you, put us in charge. So you who go to work every day, you who are working 2 jobs and maybe 3, you who when you go home, you and your wife are sitting down and planning how you're going to build your house, how you're going to expand your house, how you're going to get your children off to university, you who are doing grown-up things, big people things. People are asking you to put them in charge of you, but them not working away. They're neither working nor they looking work. They're allergic to work. What they want is pay, and they want access to the treasury so they can get that pay. I want the people of Nevis to think, you see me, I find myself now, obviously, at the ending stages of my political career. I don't propose to be like some and have no walking stick trying to go into the parliament. That's not me. There are other things I feel I can do and other contributions that I can make. But once I have this fire in me, and I still have it in me, to serve and to help, I'm going to be here and I'm going to be sounding my voice, because there's some people here on this island, and I am warning the people of Nevis, beware. Some come as wolves in sheep clothing. Beware. Some are, you know what, listen, and they say, who can't hear us feel. But beware, because the signs are there for all to see. Something happened in the courts yesterday. I don't have all the details, and so I won't get into it. But I just want to say to my brother, my constituent and my friend Cal Prentice, that I'm happy that he's finally getting some relief after 14 long years. 14 long years. This poor man from Churchground has struggled and suffered. And I'm happy that he's finally getting some justice. As I said, I don't like to come and talk with some information. I like to have all the information, because when I talk, I want to make sure that nobody can sue me and nobody can sue Van Radio. I believe it is a badge of honor that I've been here for a decade and a half and it never happened yet. But I want Cal, if he's listening, to know that I stand 100% with him. He's a good man, works hard to support his family, and the injustice that was meted out to him shouldn't be meted out to any poor family on this island. And we need to look sometimes and ask ourselves, when we examine things carefully, ask ourselves, where do we want to see this little Nevis go? Where? And who do we want to see running the affairs of this island? Because I am warning us all. I may be gone by then, I don't know. Only God knows. But I'm warning us all that if we make that mistake and put these people who have been waiting for years like vultures, claws are there, salivating, want to get at that Nevis treasury, want to get even at people, want to support wrongdoing and injustice to poor people like Cal. I hope that my warning tonight, I'm not just talking about me, because as much as I want to say and cuss and carry on about me, I have achieved the position of Premier. There are others who are still trying to achieve that. So there is nothing that they can say of me that will diminish or remove the fact that the people of Nevis have had confidence in me, not once as Premier but twice. And the people of St. John's have had confidence in me ever since I entered politics. And the people of Nevis 9 have had confidence in me ever since the by-election in 2007. So I have been there. And for these past 18 years, I have been a servant of the people of Nevis. Through highs and lows, through good and bad, I have been consistent in my service to the people of Nevis. And I have always stood up for those who were being victimized and downtrodden. I don't want the Guyanese community to forget me. I don't want the Spanish community to forget me. I don't want people like Cal to forget me. Because sometimes when people are being victimized and have no voice, they need somebody who's willing to stand up for them. And I want to believe that somewhere a footnote will be written about me, that when people were being victimized, that I stood up for them. And I said, that is not right. That is not right. And those, interestingly enough, who victimize so many groups, the non-nationals, round them up and deport them, force them to take picture of their ballot to show who they vote for in order to get a work permit, hold their passport to get a work permit. If you're Guyanese in Nevis on the NRP, you had to go to one of two people. None of them a minister, none of them in government, but you had to go to one of two. And when a work permit costs $1,500, you had to pay $3,000 for a work permit. Some of them hired people, held their passport, and not pay them, and you dare not make a sound. Look at Nevis now. Look at how comfortable people are living in Nevis now. When now we find somebody who's here illegally in Nevis, you know what we do? We don't round them up and deport them like criminals. We tell them, come in. Let us have a conversation. Explain your circumstances. Let us see if we can work with you. Put you on a payment plan. Do something for you. We have given amnesty after amnesty so persons can clear off those back debts and bring themselves into proper standing on the island. And look how comfortable people are. People are going about their business. Feel free to buy a house, build a house, start a business. Young people are investing. I just mentioned one young lady. People here in Nevis now are in a state where they have become comfortable because they understand that they have a government that's not hostile to people. The number of them who out there cussing us every day. That's okay. We help them anyway. We help them anyway. I say to my colleagues in the cabinet all the time, we're here to help all whom we can because we have been elected to serve everybody. But sometimes when you hear the harsh words and the cussing and the foolishness, and you just smile to yourself. You smile. Because those who go on Facebook to cuss me, when they see me one-on-one, they say, the boss, I wonder if you could help me with this. I wonder if you could sort out this little thing here for me. But they're not going to tell you that, you know. No. They go and they say, oh, you're bad and you're wicked and you're worthless and you're corrupt and you don't like people and you're this and you're that and you're the terror. It reminds me of good Lord Jesus and the old worthless Barabbas. And when they ask the crowd, who should be free? You know, they say, give us Barabbas. Send the man who is without sin to death and give us the old worthless criminal. Nothing is new under the sun, you know. All has been written about, all has been foretold, all has been said. Not a thing is new. So what I'm saying shouldn't surprise any of us. It should not. But it should cause us to pause and reflect. Because you see some of them come now and they want people to forget, you know. Some I'm hearing, well, these new people in NRP, them new, they're not the old guard who was there. I say, really? Listen a bit closer. Who you hear making noise for NRP? Is that the same old guard? So what do you think? When somebody in NRP now get elected, those voices that you've been hearing making noise, those vultures that been on the fence cooping, waiting, they're going to just fly away and say, oh, I'm so happy that NRP is now in new hands and let me hush my mouth. They're the ones who were there before and they're still there. They have changed the packaging, but it's the same old khaki pants. Well, these ones are wearing skirts, so the same old khaki skirt. That's all. They have changed the packaging, but the core values are still there. Victimizing people, taking advantage of poor people like Cal Prentice. That is the reality of these people. That is who they are. And that is why when even I as a youngster was given the chance, I said, no, I can't go in that direction. Let me go with the big blue machine. And I believe history has shown me, as I get older and I look back, because as you get older now, you know, you got to look back because your more days are behind you than ahead of you. So as I look back, I said I made the right decision. Because CCM is a party that loves people, that takes care of people. And I, as the Premier of Nevis, I love people and I take care of people. Sometimes I even get licks because people say, I hear you help so-and-so and them not like you. I said, well, that is their problem. If them not like me, that is not my problem, you know. That is their problem. So, we have demonstrated what we are made of. And others continue to demonstrate what they are made of. It is up to you, the people, ultimately, to decide which direction you're going to go in. The horror stories that I would have heard, the treatment meted out to the Guyanese people. I remember they went into Cane Garden, and I hope my brothers and sisters in Cane Garden listening, because all of you should remember when they came into Cane Garden and removed all of you from the voters list. Tut Mun Saman Bagay. Remove from the voters list. Why? They say you all support CCM. Let me ask you now, is anybody harassing you? I remember being in Charlestown one day. There's a guy in his bar right there by Longstone House in the back. And they had this paddy wagon. A wagon, we don't know where they get it from. I haven't seen it since. Look like NRP had it specially made. And they just come and they just start to pick up in the wagon, straight to the police station. And if you didn't have your work permit in order, you didn't have everything in order, woe be unto you. Because not only were you deported and sent back to Georgetown, but they put a notation in the immigration system that you can never return. I'm not making these things up. And we need to continue to tell these stories, because sometimes I hear people now and they like they forget. Or I heard somebody tell me the other day, I was talking to a non-national, and I mentioned some of what used to happen on the NRP, and the non-national said, well, that nobody me coming on my passport now. And I said, oh, well, what happened to your brothers and sisters? Because you have your passport now, the suffering that you endured doesn't matter anymore. You must forget that. And I believe that we ought not to forget. Because they say people who forget their past are destined to relive it. We should ensure in this Nevis that what we are seeing now, this peace, stability, growth, people getting along with each other, a society which is functioning and functional, that we should maintain and even increase that momentum. That's what we ought to be seeking to achieve and to accomplish on this little island called Nevis. There's no time to go backwards, to experiment and to say, well, Lord, they used to deport us, let me give them another chance and see what they do. Lord, they used to victimize us, let me give them another chance and see what they're going to do. Lord, they used to take with land and not pay for it, let me give them another chance and see what they're going to do. That is the reality. And it is up to us to determine whether or not, when people come around now and want to buy your drink and pretend that they are your friend, it's because they know what they want, you know. They're cooping, that's the only word I could use. They're cooping. They are like thieves in the night, hiding in the bushes, praying and hoping that by some miracle they can get their hands back on the reins of government. And when that happens, wailing and gnashing of teeth, because that is what they are seeking to achieve. I see some of them, and I'm so happy that I was exposed to some of them, so I know them inside out. So when I hear them attack, I just laugh. Last election, one of them sent a message to one of my supporters. They said, oh, pack your bags, because the government gonna change. And I'm there smiling to myself. I say, oh, government gonna change? Which government gonna change? We had the popular vote and the largest number of seats in the last election. So where's the change? But you know, they had this, because as usual the counts take long and rumors start to fly, and Mark Brantley lost and Spencer Brand lost, and all kind of story they had going around. And he called somebody to tell them, pack their bags. Mind, nobody vote for he, you know. And that's why I'm telling people to be careful. Nobody vote for he wasn't on the ballot. But he called somebody to tell them, pack their bags. Because what he's saying is that he is going to have power. I hope you all understand what I'm trying to say. Some may say, oh, you're here and you're politicking. Well, I'm a politician. And politicians engage in politics. But what I will also say is I'm a truth teller. And I also engage in telling truth. And nothing that I've said tonight is untrue. There was a level of fear and trepidation in this island. People were afraid to speak up. People were afraid to speak out. People were afraid of their livelihood being removed from them. The stories are too many to tell. You know, I remember and it's in the court so I could talk about it, my friend Shemarko. Shemarko is a hard-working man, come here from the Dominican Republic, has lived here, had a vehicle, had a business, had a loan, had just had a baby born here. They hear that Shemarko supporting me. NRP was in office. Shemarko is not even a registered voter. But they heard that Shemarko supporting me. And they round up that man, his wife, and his little baby, and put them in jail up at the Charleston police station. You hear what I tell you? They round up his wife, and his baby, born right here in Nevis, and had them at the Charleston police station for deportation. We had to run to court to get an injunction to stop it. And eventually the court ruled in Shemarko's favor and said what had been done to him was completely illegal. But imagine if he did not have somebody like me and my law firm standing up with him. Well, by the next day he gone back to Santo Domingo with a notation on his file never to return, because that's what used to happen. You all remember the young Guyanese girl who was told she had to take a picture of her ballot to prove she voted for NRP in order to get a work permit? And when my agent in the booth heard the phone click, the camera click, my agent grabbed and said no and sounded the alarm. The young lady was arrested. When she was arrested and was being escorted out at Ivor Walter, she called out to the NRP activist who brought her to vote. And he said, "Girl, don't call me name. Me no know about you, don't call me name." And that poor girl was arrested, and before you could wink, she was deported out of Nevis. Last I heard of her, she called in on this very program from Guyana to tell the tale of what happened. Y'all think I'm making this stuff up? Imagine you have to prove who you vote for in order to get a work permit. That is, was, and will always be the NRP. Don't bother feel that they put on a frock now instead of pants and you think that them change. No. Listen to the voices that you hear talking and ask yourself, are these not the same voices you're hearing all along? Are these not the ones who some of them were actually sitting in the government that victimized people? And so you think what will happen? Just like this one who nobody vote for, feeling emboldened because the votes late coming in, and say NRP win. Them like to listen to the rumors. Some of them was here on Van Radio. Say them a call the results election night. Them hear rumors too, and they start to say the worst things about me. But you don't see full bottom till wind blow. A lot of them start to lambaste me because them get the false rumor. Well, I'm home, sipping a cocktail and waiting on the Lord. He that waiteth on the Lord. And that was me. And when the results came in and the results were known, CCM was back in office. But some had shown their hand. So this one called this young lady and tell her, pack she bags. Pack she bags. But God is good, you know. The lady is still working. And I don't know where that one is now. But the lady is still working. Praise be to God. And I believe she tell me she just built a house. Thanks be to God. But pack your bags. Because it's power now. It's time now to go after people. I hope people are listening to me now. I hope you all are listening to me. Because at the end of the day, the people who will suffer most are the very people that they're coming to try to persuade that, oh, we're so good and we're so righteous and we're so sweet. We don't know what happened 10 years ago, but that's not us. Our hands are clean, look at us. Y'all think it's so life work? As I said, the facade might have changed. The khaki pants may have become a khaki skirt. But there's no difference in mentality, philosophy and approach. And I want our people here, right here in Nevis, to be mindful that on today's date, I told you what I told you. It is 9 o'clock and I will open my lines now and take some calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you'd like to be a part of the show this evening, and the phones are lit up already, so let me go straight to the lines and say good evening. You're on the mark.
Miss Sheriff, good night.
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
Hello? I'm giving God thanks.
Thank you for
I'm happy
calling.
for Carl. Lord, is struggle.
Yes, struggle.
2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1 and 2. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, and blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unworthy. May God continue to bless you. And I'm giving myself sympathy on the passing of a brother I have in St. Croix, Sanchez Paris. Good night. That's my brother. He died.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm giving my own self sympathy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't hear the news before, but please, my prayers are with you and the family, okay?
All right.
All right. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. It is 9 o'clock, and we've opened our lines and are taking your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers you call if you want to be a part of the show. Now, I said I had some updates and some good news, so let me continue as I wait for the phones to ring. The Pinnis Park is now well and truly in its final stages. I was very pleased that our consultant on the project, Mr. Michael Perkins, has reported that the contractors would have done their final pour of concrete. That is now done. It would mean, therefore, that the major works in terms of concrete works are now over. And so we are now at the stage where we have to put in one last bit of road. That bit of road, where I'm told, will be asphalt. The public works are being asked to deal with that. And then we'll be fixing the road that comes down to the Pinnis Park and the new addition that we've done. And then we will be ready for a grand opening well in time for Culturama 50. And so we are certainly looking forward to that. We have spent quite a bit of money. We thank again the Republic of China, Taiwan, for their assistance, and we have realized a place that we hope will be the mecca for leisure, for entertainment, for family fun, for dining right here on the island of Nevis. I was asked the other day by a visitor whether we had a dining, what did he call it, a dining sector, an area on the island where people would go to dine, where there were just multiple restaurants. And I believe that my answer now will be Pinnis, because we have there a number of restaurants. We have Lime, we have Weekends, we have Sunshines, we have Zanzi, we have Chills, I think it's called, and then we have Turtle Time, and then we have the Brew Pub. So we have something like 7 restaurants, all within walking distance of each other. So our idea really is to continue to develop that area and to continue to create an atmosphere where people can feel safe. Just to remind the public, we have upgraded our sewage facilities, we've upgraded our security. Now we will have CCTV, but additional manned security as well. We have created parking where there was hitherto chaos. We've created some one-way traffic to ensure that traffic flows smoothly. We have allowed the restaurants there to be developed, and some now have decks for events at the top, rooftop type events. We have added changing rooms and bathrooms on the beach side. We have really done a tremendous amount. The boardwalks now, we've created an atmosphere where people can feel comfortable, and we're asking the people of Nevis, if you have not been down there, please go. Sunday, take a drive, have a look. It's not yet finished, but I feel so proud of that project. I think when we're finally done with it, that all of Nevis will be happy. And that is why we're here. We're here to do things to ensure that the people of Nevis and those who call Nevis home are happy. And that's what you elected us to do, and that's what we're doing. So I am really excited about that particular project, because I do believe that that project will turn out to be something that all of us can be proud of. Just like our water taxi, just like our Mondo Track, just like our police station at Newcastle, just like our CCTV command center and our rollout of CCTV across the island, our brand new Treasury building in Charlestown. All of these efforts make us proud. and I encourage you to go there and to have a look for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 5 minutes past the hour. My name is Mark Brantley. If you're just joining us, I'm the Premier of Nevis, but on Wednesday nights I'm the host of On the Mark. 2 hours of commercial-free talk radio right here in the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, VON Radio, the voice of Nevis, 860 on your AM dial. And for those who want to not just listen but watch, you can do that live because we stream on YouTube and on Facebook. That's modern technology. When I started out, we used to be here in a little room just talking, but now we have company, and so I welcome all of you. The numbers again to call if you want to be a part of the show: 869-469-1616 or 869-469-1700. Let me go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Hello, good evening, Mr. Brantley.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Brantley.
Good evening.
I would like to say happy birthday in advance. Going out to Avril Huggins there in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
And it's coming from Sandra.
Well, happy birthday to Avril as well, coming from me. I didn't know she was having a birthday, so happy birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow is her birthday.
Okay, wonderful.
Mr. Brantley, I am so...
You have your radio or computer on? We're hearing a feedback.
Let me call you back.
Okay,
I'll
please.
call you back.
Please.
I'll call you back.
Okay. All right, so we're sorry about that call. But callers, when you call in, if you can move away from your devices and just listen to the phone so that we can have a clear conversation. We know people out there want to hear what you have to say and want to know what issues you have to put on the table as well. And so we urge you to call in at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. In relation, ladies and gentlemen, to the... Well, let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yes, me again, Mr. Brantley.
Yes,
You hearing me now?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yes, I am Calvin's sister. I am so happy for my brother yesterday, Mr. Brantley. Mr. Brantley, my brother Calvin used to work for this businessman for years. My brother get injured on the job site. I remember the day when my brother get injured. The same gentleman come up the hospital. He said I had to take care of sick thing because I could leave sick thing on any one of my project and go and come back and sick thing, make sure my job get finished. And not one red cent that gentleman compensate my brother. The matter end up in court, Mr. Brantley. He lose it to appeal. He carry the matter to England. They turn it down. Come back here to the judge. The judge order him in 2022 by the end of August to pay 100,000. And up to yesterday, he didn't pay a cent till the judge order him, threaten him to send him to prison yesterday.
Wow.
He lied there in there saying that how the company doesn't have any money. The judge say I live on Nazuna, I live right here. The judge say I went outside and I see some of your workers outside there in your t-shirt, and you have to pay them either twice a month or once a month, Mr. Brantley. And the lawyer in there talking all kind of foolishness. Calvin lawyer bring up, he put in an article in the Observer saying that he not gonna pay Cal 1 red cent. When you look at lawyer saying, oh, it's got to be somebody else put it in the Observer. The judge said, no, I could go on my computer and pull it up in 5 minutes. When you look now, after the judge tell him, it got to be somebody in St. Kitts tell you that the prison in St. Kitts is a nice place to go. He decided to pay 50,000 in 7 days. The judge said, no, that's not accepted. You understand me? When you look, he tell the lawyer, go out and speak to your client. Then the lawyer come back and say, my client don't want to go to prison, so he will pay the 100,000 yesterday. And then from 2022, when the judge ordered him to pay the money, $2,500 every month, he ain't pay none. But he got till the 21st of June to pay the $50,000. Take advantage of the poor brother Calvin. Calvin used to work from Sunday to Sunday and had no time to go church, spend time with the family, and nothing. And them is who Nevis people want to go vote for to put in power. He gonna spit on Nevis people and send for his sister yesterday in the court.
Sanjay,
Cheat me brother, cheat me back, my brother bad. My brother worked for you for years. No had no time to spend with the family them. And couldn't give me brother not even $1. My brother had to go Barbados to put a plate over his brains to cover his brains. And that has spent the man they give me brother. But I leave him to God. God will work it out. See how the judge you see how the judge handled him yesterday? The judge tell him I'm not jokey judge, you know. And this court here ain't a jokey courts, you know, and no man in this land above the law of this land. The judge handled him, the judge was on fire. You know, the first thing the judge tell the lawyer yesterday, I hope your client walk with the checkbook. The judge did ready for him yesterday. Cheat me brother bad after me brother don't work so much for him. Like to use people. That's what they for, to use people. And they're gonna use for people that don't like people.
Well,
anyway, good evening.
I know your brother. I know his family.
Hard-working man. My brother work with him from Sunday to Sunday. His wife tell me, your brother don't have no time with me, not even to go to church. He one mouth say that Carl, he could left any project with Carl, and then he know he don't get his work done. Carl only tell one of his workers, take up, go do the man work. Trust to nearly kill me brother. And no compensate me brother up the hospital. I shed my crocodile tears. Pay your help, sick thing. And of the sick thing, nothing. Tell the almost the whole of Nevis that he ain't gonna get nothing. But look, he had to pay the money. I didn't want the judge send him down yesterday for the Bulgari them down here to deal with him.
Alright, Sandra, we're gonna leave it there.
Then.
Alright, thanks a lot. But I could hear the passion, and you see that's what happens when poor people, you know, honest, decent people are taken advantage of. And that is the concern, and I think you hear the passion, you hear the pain, because when I talk, you know, and I think that our people sometimes, they say, well, politician them just attack, but that wasn't a politician who just called in. That is a woman from church ground who just called in. She identified herself. She said what she had to say. What I am concerned about, what I hear in her voice, is the pain. And I believe that we must understand and appreciate that decisions have consequences. And when you see you empower bad people, you can't expect good consequences. She just said something there. They like to use people but have no love for people. And I want us to reflect on that, because a lot of them are coming. When you have some tragedy in your family, they bawl the crocodile tears, and then they say, tell somebody, take a picture quick there so you can put it on Facebook to show that I'm here, I'm supportive. They use your tragedy, your situation, because they could use it to get to where they want to get to. But when you have people who are suffering, people who are struggling, there is no effort, no reaching out, no hand outstretched. And from what I gather, it's 14 years that Cal has been suffering. 14 years. But as I said, I'm gathering my own facts, and in time I will speak to the matter, because I have an article here that was in the Observer newspaper, longest article I ever see, 2 whole pages. And this paragraph here in the article is interesting. He said, good luck to them with their consent order. My company has no independent assets of its own other than its reputation. Imagine that. Say anything and do anything because Cal is from church long and calling them a poor people, so calling them must suffer. It can't be right. And we have to be careful what we're doing here in Nevis. Careful who we are empowering and seeking to empower, because them don't care about people. They have no interest. I will leave that and I will move on to talk about the park at Pinners. We are very near to completion, and I am hopeful that we'll get that done in time. Let me say a word about the transformation that's happening at the Culturama 50 venues, at the village and at the Culturama complex. Of course, I continue to urge the workmen and the contractors that are engaged to finish on time. They were given a tight schedule, I know, but God has been good. We've had good weather, and I'm urging them to get the job done so that we could be in fine fettle for Culturama 50 and have the type of amenities and the type of accommodation for our patrons, our performers, that will make us truly proud. And so we certainly look forward to Culturama 50 in new surroundings there, accommodation that has been renovated and improved. There are going to be some VIP boxes now because there's been a demand for that, and so we're hopeful that our corporate sponsors and corporate entities on the island will take the opportunity to grab a box. I think that's important, but we are really raising the standard. We invested in the village some years ago, and we're now investing more. We are also simultaneously investing at NEPAC, our Nevis Performing Arts Center. From the time that that facility was constructed, there have been structural issues, leaks from the roof. So we're trying now once and for all to have those fixed, and we are changing out the air conditioning. We're doing some additional work there, I am told, with the electrical system, sewage, ensuring that we have, again, NEPAC in fine fettle and ready for Culturama 50. We are also preparing NEPAC because we have a very, very large archaeological conference, an international conference that will be happening on Nevis in August. I'm told that over 200 plus persons will be descending on the island, including participants and their families. And so we anticipate that the island will have a lot of activity during the month of August as we prepare, and that NEPAC, I'm told, will be the focal point for those activities. And so we are really looking at some dramatic improvements in the island here in terms of where we are, where we're going, what we're trying to do and to achieve. And when we look at the business that is slated to come for the rest of 2024, I believe that our hotel workers, our restaurant workers, people who are in trades and businesses that support the hotel sector, I believe that they will do well. On our airport facility, we continue our negotiations with landowners. We are hopeful that those will be completed. We have one really large, last landowner to finalize matters with, but I think we're close, and I believe that we will have something finalized in good faith so that we can really get ready to kick off that project. I think the Honorable Alexis Jeffers has been dealing with that project, and he has advised that we will have some additional town hall meetings, and each town hall we share more information, because just today he sent me the draft of the social and environmental impact assessment report, and so we expect that we will continue in that vein to do things properly, to do them by the book, and to be able to present to the people of Nevis a project in due course, expanding our airport facility, which is so critical if we're going to take this island forward. And so we certainly look forward to that. And we continue to do things in our community. The Honorable Spencer Brand would have spent his Whit Monday doing a white goods cleanup in St. Paul's. That follows the Honorable Eric Evelyn and myself. We have done white goods cleanup in our various constituencies, and the Honorable Spencer Brand would have done one in St. Paul's on Whit Monday. He said it went well, and he thanked the people of St. Paul's for investing in keeping their community clean. And so we are delighted that they were able to do that. And on Whit Monday, we saw the Honorable Alexis Jeffers stepping up to the plate in a significant way in St. James and hosting his usual Whit Monday affair in conjunction with the people of St. James, particularly those there in Brick Hill and Butlers. And that was to do a fundraiser right there on the Brick Hill Main Road for 6 individuals who have various health concerns in the community that they wanted to benefit. And so I went there, spent a little time, spent a little money, enjoyed myself. In fact, I had a couple games of domino, partnered with the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. We won some and we lost some, but that is life. And so we quite enjoyed ourselves over there, and I thank all of those who turned up and showed up to support. That is why you see I keep saying that Nevis is a place that has a lot of goodness. A lot of people here love each other and they look out for each other. And we need to encourage that rather than the clanging cymbals, the clang, clang, clang you hear from a few who continue to denigrate and to disrespect everybody and everything. I think we need to really continue to support causes that are worth supporting, to help people that need help. And in order to move this island forward, we definitely need to cooperate and be together. So we're again asking for your calls. We only have 40 minutes left on this show, and so we're calling for telephone calls now at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call. If you're out there and you have something to put on the table, we invite you to call in and to tell us about it. Now, Culturama is coming, and we're already having some water issues on the island. We are aware as to why those issues have been occurring, and I want to remind the public that we are working to resolve those issues. We are working on a small desalination plant in the St. James area. In addition to that, we hope to embark on some drilling of new wells shortly. We've employed a company from Trinidad. We've paid them their mobilization money, and we're asking them to get here as quickly as they can to start the process so that we can have more water available to us as we move forward as an island, not just for Culturama, but moving forward. And so we have identified, I believe, about 9 sites through our geophysical surveys that were done for us. And so we anticipate that we'll be able to drill, and we're hopeful that we will drill and that drilling will be successful, not just in finding water, but in finding potable water. But we believe that the ultimate solution will be desalination once we can solve the energy issue. And that solution, we say, has to be renewable energy, and specifically geothermal energy. I'm happy to report that representatives from the Caribbean Development Bank, that they are here on island shortly, and that they are here to finalize matters in relation to our bid process on the geothermal drilling. And so we anticipate that we will be able to move that forward in a significant way in the next few weeks, and that is our intention. So we are doing multiple things at once as we try to move things forward and to get us to a place where we can say that we are in fact the greenest place on planet Earth. That is our ambition, and that is where we intend to go. I want to again record my appreciation to Prime Minister Drew and the federal government for coming on board with us in a significant way and partnering with us as we try to move this renewable energy project forward for the benefit of all the people of Nevis and all the people of St. Kitts. Let's go back to the phones now and take a call. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Michelle, I have a
how are you?
problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big problem for the whole of us.
Yes.
The street and they no look clean. Culturama come down street and are clean. I go for me walk and I can't believe I saw dirty the road. They're not cleaning the street like how I know the street used to be clean. The street and dirty.
Well, I'm hearing you say that, and I don't doubt that at times that the streets do need cleaning. They need cleaning continuously. But I have not heard that criticism made elsewhere. So right, and this is Charlestown you're talking about.
And this no Culturama, so it's wet.
And this is Charlestown you're talking about. Hello?
Okay.
I was asking you, this is Charlestown you're talking about. Okay, caller is gone. I just wanted to confirm that you meant the streets of Charlestown because, as I said, yes, there are times, especially if there are events in town, that you'll see some untidiness, but I think that we've been trying to do our very best in terms of keeping Charlestown and the surroundings clean. And I think so far we've had actually good commendations for how we've kept Nevis clean. So I take that note, caller, and I certainly will be speaking to the people in the Ministry of Health to see what we can do to do better than what you've described. But as I said, we've had mixed reviews in that regard because the majority of persons have said that in fact we have done a fairly good job in terms of keeping the island clean. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this call before I go to something important again. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening. Good evening, Matt.
Hello, I'm not hearing you properly. Could you raise your voice, please?
Yeah. Good evening, Matt.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, I'm just calling to. Yeah, I'm just calling to try to promote the village Premier League.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Our next thing is going to be on Sunday. On Sunday we'll have HKF Sports playing against the Guyanese at 12:30, and then at 3 o'clock we'll have Bushwhacker playing against Judge. Mark,
yes.
Everything going well so far, and I thank all those persons who have helped out with sponsorship so far.
I see you made a fabulous duck. I got a video from you. I was surprised that you get one ball. Anything go so?
Yeah, Mark. I mean, while you're going to the field, you can score not, you can score 100. But it was a lot of fun for me. Well, I bowled 2 overs for 7 runs, and then I went in and first and knocked down my stump for 0.
One ball, you know.
Yeah, the one ball. Yeah, that really wasn't expected. But I went to play for a sports because they only have 10 players, so I may make up the 11.
But I heard my friend Mike on the microphone as usual saying that there are over 5,000 people. He wants to welcome over 5,000 people to the grounds.
Oh yes, Mark. And Mark, to be truthful, on Sunday we had about 6 commentators. And as you know, Micah is a special commentator. He claimed that he's one of the top commentators on the planet Earth. And then Mark, you should really come to see those girls roll on the ground when Micah talking, man.
All right, so this Sunday starting at noon. Hello?
No, at 12:31, 1 o'clock.
12:31. Okay, so that's when you start this Sunday at the Hard Times Cricket Field, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then last Sunday, the crowd demand that we should play 2 matches. So we end up playing 2 matches, and really it was a lot of excitement. It was a lot of fun that you could bring out the various teams to play cricket and just enjoy yourself in a wholesome way, man.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that, and we look forward to supporting. Let's stick with the telephones and take some more calls and say good evening. You're on the mark.
Good evening, Brantley.
Yes, good evening to you, brother.
How are you doing?
I'm well, man. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, good to hear you too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brantley, I do not know why some people take everything and make politics out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know any place in the world that everything is perfect. You know, except maybe you're talking about.
And we haven't been there yet, so we don't know.
Okay. But I have been many places and may not see no perfection. I see where even in New York, you're trying to do a development and everything is not going to be perfect either. And sometimes they have to put up and take back down and do over again. I don't know why some people have to take everything and make politics. You know, I look at this island here that I born in a long time ago, and I know what Nevis was and what it is today. And to tell you the truth, I don't even put politics into so much into that. Because I tell people all the time, I believe it's the old people of Nevis who really worked hard and built this island here. Not so much necessarily politics or not politics. To me, the older people then were the ones who worked hard and built this island here. But I will say this, right, because a person who I have a lot of respect for, right, and she say, if somebody says something, tell a lie and you are trying to spread bad news about you, right, it is not for you to go around moaning and repeating it to people. So I would say this, sometimes you got to ignore certain lies, because when people say things that is untrue, it is not for you. When I say you, I don't mean you, I mean anybody. Mm-hmm. It's not for the person who they say it about to go and spread it too much again. Let them say it and kind of ignore it. Sometimes you have to answer them, but many times you just need to leave it alone. Because I tell you something, I have a couple of properties that I rent and so on. And almost every day, people are calling me and asking for property. People who are coming here just tonight in the rain. In the rain, I had to go and pick up a young lady, right, to come to see an apartment that I have. And I don't know how some people could say, oh, Nevis is down and Nevis is thing. I wonder what they're saying. And as I say, I don't even believe that is so much politics alone. I believe these people work hard and build themselves, and Nevis has come a long, long way. So I don't know what some people are saying. Anyway, good night.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And, you know, the point you're making is a very valid point. I mean, I'm old enough to know where Nevis used to be and where Nevis now is. And I believe that you would have to be outright dangerous if you were to deny the progress that is being seen here. When I talk about numbers that I get in terms of jobs, when I look around the island and see what is happening, when you see Nevis is a place now where so many from other islands and countries are flocking to come in. And I made the point before, people do not flock and go to countries where there's no opportunity. You never hear nobody rushing to a country where there's sufferation. People are rushing into places where there are opportunities. Just like we rushed to England, we rushed to America, we rushed to the US Virgin Islands, we rushed to St. Martin back in the day. People are now coming here. And when they come, they do what we did. Because remember when we went to America, we went and we said, boy, things good up here. We sent for our cousin. We told the person who we're working with, I have a nephew. He's a hard worker. And you bring them 1 by 1 and 2 by 2 and 3 by 3. The same thing is now happening. So Nevis is a place where the social security numbers are telling us we have more jobs than people, more jobs than workers, and the gap is being filled. 300 to 400 jobs are being filled because some people are working 2 and 3 jobs, multiple jobs. So for those who say there's no progress, nothing is happening, have they driven on our roads? Nevis now has one of the best road networks in the Caribbean. I had some people here recently who commented that they were frequent visitors to 2 much larger Caribbean nations, and they've never seen the quality of roads there that they see here. So I wonder sometimes what people are talking about. I made the comment recently that sometimes, perhaps because things are running so smoothly, that our people don't even realize sometimes that the seas are rough. That's what happens when you have a good captain. You're navigating the waves and you're trying to make sure nobody gets splashed, nobody gets seasick. And so people start to take it for granted that the place running so smooth. That is why when somebody finds a pothole now in Nevis, they take a picture and they put it on Facebook. That is like when you find one of them old time dollar, you say, well, long time I don't see one of these, boy. You put it on Facebook. We have progressed to a particular point now. And talking about progress, I want to go on record to commend the board, the minister first of all, the Honorable Janelle Nisbet, the board at the Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, and most of all, commendations to the manager, Andrew Murray Hendrickson Prentice, he have plenty name, and his entire team at Solid Waste, because in partnership with Taiwan, they were able to ship our first 40-foot container of plastic waste off the island of Nevis. I can't tell you how proud I felt to go to the landfill to witness that momentous occasion when, in an effort to recycle and to take plastic out of our environment here in Nevis, we filled up a 40-foot container with baled plastic and we shipped it out. Andrew tells me that we have another 40-foot container ready to go, to be shipped out, to be recycled. And I believe that they ought to be commended. I want to also commend the Honorable Dr. Joel Clark. She's the minister in St. Kitts, because this has been a collaborative effort, and of course her team at the St. Kitts Solid Waste Management Authority. But Nevis has made history because we have exported a 40-foot container of plastic waste for it to be recycled elsewhere. I don't think that the significance of that has really sunk in for most of us yet. It is truly, truly a significant development for this island of Nevis. And based on what I'm told, we've collected some 20 tons of plastic waste so far. When I say collected, we've gathered and baled and have ready, compressed, to be exported. 20 tons, 40,000 pounds of plastic. That, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is remarkable. I want to thank the general public and thank all those who have been separating out their plastic bottles and other plastic waste and taking that to our drop-off points so that they can be collected by solid waste in order to be processed and shipped overseas. We are hopeful that in the fullness of time we will be doing our own recycling on Nevis, meaning that we'll be taking that plastic waste and converting it to something else here on the island. But until such time, I want to commend this significant effort on behalf of the people of Nevis. Let's go back to the phones and take some more calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Mr. Brantley.
Good evening to you.
This is Dr. Marcus Hall.
Yes, brother, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. First, let me say congratulations to you or your daughter for her achievement, and I wish her all the best going forward.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that very much.
Well, it's important when young people find what you'd say the groove and take it to the end and try to get where they need to go or want to go. That's very important. I also like to big up the Honorable Spencer Brand on his cleanup program. Spencer came to my house, my building, and picked up some stuff here for me and took it away, and I deeply appreciate that. So I want to congratulate him on his pickup program. Mr. Brantley, you know, I had a few calls, and
and a lot of people ask me some questions about our last conversation when we were talking about the law and the court. And let me say, I'm happy to hear that Calvin got some justice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about time. I am still having some questions for you about the law here. But, first I want to ask you two questions, actually. The first one is, do you think when people come to our shores, move to our shores, and they commit crime, they should be deported?
I feel so.
Thank you very much.
I feel so, caller. I think that when people go to anybody's country,
Yes.
they come as a guest,
Yes.
and their primary function is really to respect the law.
Agreed.
But having said that, I think that over the years, and I referenced it in my opening passage, that some people had tremendous difficulty getting a work permit, getting their position regularized here, and some people, as we have done in other countries as well, went illegal. And so I believe that where you can look at people and give them an opportunity to regularize themselves, that in those circumstances I will not jump to deport people for that. But where people come in and commit crime of the type where they're robbing, they're killing, they're stealing, they're engaging in criminal activity of that type, I certainly believe that once convicted and they've done their time, then they ought to be deported. I feel strongly about that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that answer. Mr. Brantley, the other question I have for you is this. The police came to my building in December because my ex-wife had called them over a matter. And I went to the station to seek to get a report on that visit from the police. And I was told that I have to now apply to the police commissioner in St. Kitts in order to get a copy of that report. Now, I don't have a problem applying to the police commissioner, but I would like to think that we were advanced enough where the superintendent of police in Nevis should be able to handle a report like that, because obviously when the police is called to go and check out a matter, they have to go back to the station and fill out a report. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. So you mean to tell me in this day and age that the superintendent in Nevis does not have the power or the intellect to deal with a problem like that, and I would have to actually bother the police commissioner in St. Kitts just to get that report?
Well, I'm not aware of that. I'll be honest with you. I really thought that, people should be able to access a report here. So I don't know if that's a policy. That is certainly not the law. So it must be an internal policy that the police have in terms of accessing a report. Certainly, as you know, if a matter progressed to the court, then all reports would have to be disclosed.
Agreed.
In court proceedings. So I'm a little perplexed. I've not heard that before, but as I said, perhaps it's an internal policy.
Well, Mr. Brantley, the good thing about intellectual is that we are willing to learn something new every day, right? Or at least be willing to learn something new every day. But if you check out, you will find that that is the case. Now, the other question that I do have for you, which is a lawyer question. Do you think you're a lawyer, you hire a lawyer, and they should be working against you?
Well, of course not. You hire a lawyer to plead your case and to stand up for you. That's the reason you hire a lawyer. In fact, if they're working against you, it means that they have a conflict of interest and they're not carrying out their ethical oath to you, because a lawyer must serve one client and one client only.
Mr. Brantley, this is the second time we're talking about this. And I have to say I have gotten quite a bit of calls on it, and people when they meet me, they're saying, you know, I understand what you're saying, and people are telling me some of the stories that have happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I like to thank you for the input, because I think it's making a big difference. And saying all that, I would like to say, I'd like to again big up my present lawyer, because she's doing a fantastic job for me and my family. And Mr. Brantley, I'd like to wish you a very good night. Once again, I want to thank the Honorable Spencer Brand for his cleanup program, and have a good night, Mr. Brand.
Okay, thank you very much for that, and thank you as always for your call. You're always welcome, because you always raise interesting issues. I just sent a message here. I want to first of all ask the family's forgiveness, because I didn't have this information at the start of the show, but someone has just sent me a message to say that I ought to extend condolences to the family of Pastor David Jones, who would have passed last Tuesday, to his wife Marcella Jones and his children, Reese Nakia, who used to work with me, and Yanni, and to the Rehoboth Church family at Libert Hill. We all know Pastor Jones. He pastored at that church for quite some time. And so I want to just sound my voice among the voices of the many to extend deep condolences to the family. Mrs. Jones, to you and the children, especially Nakia, who, as I said, worked with me for some time. I want to extend condolences. Nakia, of course, Reese and Yanni, and to the entire Rehoboth church family. So I thank very much that I got this note before the show ended, and just want to extend those condolences. I knew Pastor Jones well. I've heard him preach on several occasions, and I pray and hope that the prayers of the multitude will comfort the family in this their time of bereavement. Let us go back to the phones and continue with our calls. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yeah, Mr. Brantley,
Yes.
I'd like to also extend condolences to the Blackett family on the passing of Lester. So my condolences to the entire family. Thank you very much.
All right, brother.
Okay.
All right. Looks like the sad news keeps coming in, because as I'm checking my phone again, I just got a note from my very dear friend and brother Cecil Farrell. He said he's mourning the loss of his nephew, Kevin Farrell from Bridgegut. He's a son of Keith Farrell. And so I want to say to Cecil, Shark as we know him, my condolences to you and the family, and to Keith Farrell and the entire family on the loss of Kevin Farrell from Bridgegut right there in Nevis. And so we extend condolences to the family as well. We're taking your calls. We have only about 12 minutes left, and those calls are coming in at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you want to be a part of the show, even in the waning hours. Now, in the waning minutes, I'm sorry. Now, I did want to touch on one last matter, and that had to do with electricity and electricity rates. We have advised, and NEVLIC has advised, in fact it was stated in our budget address back in December of last year, that we will have to revise, let me use that language, electricity rates. As you know, in 2022, we removed the fuel surcharge from domestic customers. And I think if people are honest, they will say that they saw tremendous savings on their electricity bill. Those savings, however, came at a cost, because the central government, the NIA, had to subsidize the bills, essentially. We were paying the difference for people so that NEVLIC could stay afloat. That has created a real difficulty for the public purse, and it has hampered our ability to do other things. Our schools, our hospital project, our road network, our water development. We have really struggled, because we have been paying significant amounts to subsidize electricity. So what we have done is decided we will not reintroduce the fuel surcharge. But since the base tariff has not been adjusted for quite many years, we've decided to do some adjustments there. So NEVLIC is in the process of doing some public education and sending out some information. But let me take this call. We have 10 minutes left. Good evening, you're on the mark. Caller, we ask you please to call back in. We're sorry we missed you. 469-1616, 469-1700. Those are the numbers if you want to be a part of the show. So NEVLEC is engaging in some public education. They are sending out notices. We ask you please to go in and speak to NEVLEC if you have a concern about your bill. I think that would be useful. But this is an effort to recoup some of the monies that have to be paid to maintain our electricity supply and our electricity grid. Now I want to emphasize that there will still be a subsidy provided by the government. It's just that the subsidy will not be as much as it was. It won't be 100% as it was. Let me go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Brantley,
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
every year you sit back and let Abernathy sabotage teenagers.
Sabotage who?
Teenagers.
Teenagers, okay.
Yeah, wouldn't let them take part in a teen show. And when you can't find girls to take part in a Miss Culture and swimwear, you on the radio complain. Last year you couldn't even launch the culture armor. You couldn't find girls. Come back this year again and do the same thing. Abernathy only interested in a calypso and paint up the village. Nobody interested in a village. Nobody can jump on a plane year after year come watch in a village. Events people interested in.
So you don't think that you don't think
young girls this way every year.
So you don't think that we need a proper facility to have shows?
What?
You don't think we need a proper facility to have the shows?
This facility good all the time.
So you don't think it needed any repairs or updating?
Well, I ain't see nothing wrong with up there.
Okay. But we're trying to make it better. That's all we're doing.
But you're focusing on having the best village in the region. Having the best village in the region cannot bring people to your show. Because you make up on a gold and diamonds. Nobody jump on a plane here after you come out in a village at event. When you think people go to Trinidad? You think they go there because Trinidad got the best village? Or got the biggest population? At the events, them they go there for.
And so you think the events can be held without any infrastructure to support them? That's your argument?
But what you have there is good enough.
Well, we're saying that we want to make...
Every year, Mr. Ido, break down, build back up, break down, build back up.
That is not true, caller.
I mean, that's not true.
Right? You have not seen...
Every year you have break down something.
Caller, that is not true. You have not seen any breakdown every year, so please stop saying it.
Man,
The only thing that you've seen us do...
in the village.
Caller, that is not true. The only thing you've seen us do year to year is you would see us do some painting and some sprucing up, as we call it, at the village. This is the first time that we're doing a major overhaul of the village and the complex. So if you're going to talk, just talk the truth and don't come with misinformation to the public.
And what do you think when people come here this year? Oh, you have the best village and jump back on the plane next year, come watch it.
No, we expect people are going to come.
They're going to say?
Caller, we expect people to come to support the shows. But while they're supporting the shows, we want people to be comfortable. What is wrong with that?
It's two things go together. It's marketing and event. Those are the two go together.
Yes, and you market and the event, and people come for the event, and then the people not got a bathroom to use. They don't have proper facilities. What do you think the response is going to be?
Proper facility all the time.
Well, I'm telling you that we are improving them. We expect thousands of people to come. We're improving them. For example, at the village, we're adding bathrooms. Why? Because over the years we get complaints. People are saying that there are not enough bathrooms. So I don't understand what your complaint is. We are trying to improve the facilities to facilitate the additional people we expect to come for our shows that is being marketed out there to the public. What could be the argument with that?
So what is the reason for the wet fit coming off?
What is it for the reason for the wet fit coming off?
Yeah.
What do you mean the reason for it
off
coming?
the calendar.
Well, the people, which wet fit are you talking about? The 5-in-1?
No, not the 5-in-1, the wet fit itself.
Well, I believe that the argument that I heard, the rationale that I heard was that they're going to be the 5-in-1. That was the intention. That's a private fit. And that what we would do then is something different instead of the wet fit. Because what we're having every year is basically 2 wet fits. 5-in-1 and then another wet fit being put on by Culturama. Worse yet, we have water woes now. So I don't think that that's a road on which we would want to go.
So you say it's because you jog your feet in bringing the company here to dig wells. You say you is the reason why the wet fit can't come off. If people wet fit.
Caller, I have no
People
idea.
respect, you know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You ever know what I'm talking about?
Well, most of the times, I'll be honest, I don't, because
Well,
you know
how come people understand?
you jump from here to there. You say things that don't make any sense, and when I try to
How
talk
come
to you,
people
you get
understand
agitated
what
with
I'm
me.
saying?
Yes.
How come people understand what I say?
Well, I don't know who the people are, because sometimes people call me and I say, "Boy, what a boy the radio calling the radio go say, right? You need. I mean, you like one of them people can't finish the song." So me not understand, because now you say we drag feet, that's why we can't have wet feet. Where we used to have wet feet every year, and we don't have no water drilling.
But this time you're in a big problem. You can't find water. That's the thing I understand.
So that's what you understand.
The skipping is because
Yes.
some kind of water problem.
you need to stop talking to yourself. So you need to listen to other people, so you'll understand a
You
little
know,
better.
listen to other people.
Anyway, caller, that is not the case. The wet fit is because, as I said, they had two events of a similar nature, and they decided that they wanted to do something different.
No, that ain't how I understand.
Well, caller, you asking me because you don't know, or you asking me because you want to hear what the answer is?
What Abernathy say? Abernathy says because water problem. That's
Okay,
what
well,
he said.
I don't know what Abernathy said. I'm telling you what
he
my
said, because he said so, and the
caller, I'm saying to you what my understanding of the problem was and the issue was.
Understanding you ain't understanding right.
Okay, well, I'm not understanding right, so why did you ask me then? You should have just called and told me. All right, you have anything else that's agitating you?
Culture, I'm a 50, and all you got to give people is just paint a village. You mean to tell me you couldn't even give the people them a little cheat, put the children them back on the track, let them people come here and enjoy themselves? A village you want people come here come
You
watch?
want us to do what on the track?
I say you could at least put the schools them back on the track and give the people them a cheat when they come home, culture.
Put the schools back on the track to do what?
One,
And that will be a treat for Culturama?
that would be a cheat for people coming home, not to watch village.
But I don't understand what you're saying, caller.
I mean, I understand.
You want us to put the children to run as a treat for people coming home?
But you want to tell me if you don't want to see the children them on the track when they come home, culture?
Well, I don't know what divisions
you
want,
them watch
but
the village.
they're
You want
having
them come to
as
watch
far as
the
I
village.
know, they're having Culturama games. They're having cricket.
Culturama game. You compare Culturama games with the children on the track. A spectacle not even Trinidad Carnival have. Brazil, who have the biggest carnival in the world, do not have, and you have it here. But if you want Culturama go to the next level, that is the event.
Caller.
It's bigger than what you have there.
Okay, caller.
You-
Because
you-
you just jumping from topic to topic, and you ain't score point yet. Because caller, you're not making any sense. You're not making any sense. You are saying bring the children on the track so people coming in could see them, and that in your view.
Young, but you think like an Abernathy and Eric, old time.
So, caller, in your view, bringing the children on the track is what gonna make Culturama 50.
Old time thinking.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. It is time for you to go because you're not making any sense and you're not prepared to listen. So, if you're calling in and you just call in to chat stupidness, then it don't make any sense. This is a show, as I've said before, which is listened to around the world. You basically start out by complaining that we are improving the facilities to host Culturama. We don't need the facilities. We only need shows and to advertise. How that could make sense? Only to you that could make sense. Because when you don't advertise and people come for the shows, where are the people going to be accommodated? You say we don't need the facilities. We shouldn't improve those. You then jump from that, now you start to make some noise about water and we delay drilling and that is why we can't have wet fit. Only in your mind that could make sense. Because again, we have wet fit every year and we have not had any drilling in Nevis in the last 10 years. You then jump now and say if we not put the children on the track at Mondo, then that is to take Culturama forward. What children running on the track have to do with culture and a celebration of culture? I'm telling you, people are coming home and there's a host of activities. I am told that there's athletics activities to entertain those who are interested in athletics. There's cricket activity at the park to entertain those who are interested in cricket. There are fringe activities all across the island for those that are interested in fringe activities. Now hear you, if you don't put the children them to run on the track, then that means we're not going to have vision. So only you have vision? I don't know where you get up with these ideas from, where you pull them out of. But wherever you pull them out, then push them back in and leave them. Maybe let them percolate a bit more. Let them cure. So that next year maybe they could make more sense. But right now, they ain't making any sense. So stop cussing people about people old and people have no ideas, because the only one idea you've ever bring for Culturama, you keep talking about you want to see young girls on stage. That is the only idea you've ever bring. It's not the first time you're talking about it. We, I believe, have a packed calendar of activities. I anticipate that we're going to have a wonderful Culturama, and I invite you to enjoy your Culturama and enjoy your island, which is progressing so beautifully. I am happy that you say you want to see children on the Mondo track, because if I recall, you were one of those who opposed to the Mondo track being built in the first place. So you see, I don't keep track too. And so you have to be careful what you say and when you say, because you tend to be opposed to anything and everything that suggests progress for the island of Nevis. That's my final word. Thank you for the calls. Thank you for all of those who are part of the show. And it is time for us to say goodbye. I want to tell you that this show is rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on Vaughan Radio. We look forward certainly to your continued engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we get our first beer brewed in Nevis. Definitely looking forward to that. And all the other developments that are happening on the island of Nevis. I say good night, thank you, and God bless you.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or